you've known a lot of guys over the years. You've actually had the ability to see guys from the beginning to a flourishing career.
Yes.
Have you met anybody that you know or that you've seen have done like a 360 or converted? You know, like they turned things around. Maybe they were going in the wrong directions and they pivoted and got back on track.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. I'll tell you a story right now. There was a comic when I ran the New York City Improv, and those the people I worked with back in those days. I'm talking about the late 80s now, early 90s. So a lot of those comics have gone on to be very well. I mean, Dave Attell was my doorman. Come on.
Oh, man.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So Attell, and I love, he's one of my favorite comedians of all time, and as a person. But he was the kind of guy, if I needed someone on stage, I'd grab him and say, Dave, go up and give me 5 minutes. So even if I were to see him today or something, the first thing I'm going to say to him is, man, you owe me. You owe me. Okay. But, you know, these stories, we used to do auditions at the New York City Improv the first Sunday of every month. And it was a lottery. You had to pull a number out of a big champagne bucket. I mean, a lot of blank pieces of paper in there, but maybe 15 numbers. You got to go up and audition for 3 minutes that night. And the owner at that time, Silver Saunders, she was the owner. Bud Friedman started the club, the Silver, long story, his ex-wife. And I loved her and worked very well with her. And she and I would sit in the back of the room to watch the auditions. And Silver, you know, had the final say about anything. Well, there was a comedian who we all knew from the open mic scene, real nice guy. His name's Jeff Lipschultz. Very nice guy. Wasn't funny, though. Wasn't funny. Anyway, he pulled a number one time. He got up on a Sunday night and he did his 3 minutes. It wasn't funny. And she passed him. She passed him for the audition. And we're like, oh, man. And I'm the one giving out spots. I'm like, well, where am I going to fit him? He's not funny. I don't want to put him on a show. But he was a nice guy. Jeff, hey, man, good to see you, but I can't give you a spot tonight. I'm sorry. And we're all talking about this. And I even remember one time Silver got in my book. We had the upcoming acts. And like she'd go like 2-3 weeks in advance. She would write his name in for like a 7-minute set, like on a Wednesday at 8 o'clock or something. And we're like, oh, man, Lipschultz going on. Okay. Anyway, a couple of years later, I'm out in Hollywood. Now I'm working for Bud. And I got an office next door to Bud's office, the Hollywood Improv. And I got a TV in there because I'm watching TV. And they were doing a Comedy Central roast. And they introduced the Roast Master General. And Jeffrey Ross comes walking out. That's Jeff Lipschultz. So I called my friend in New York City, another comic by the name of Chris Murphy, who does workshops in New York City. I called him up. I go, Jeffrey Ross? He goes, yeah. I said, what the hell happened? He goes, I don't know, man. He got funny.
That is awesome.
I mean, I'm telling you, he found his niche. He wasn't anything like that when we saw him in New York. He became this, you know, the roast master. And he's very funny. I'm a big Jeffrey Ross fan. I mean, he's great. But back in the early days, you know, you got to think, Tony, when you were starting out, Pat, when you were starting out, you know, you got to find your comedy voice, is what they call it. And it could take years to find that, who you are.
Comedians Uncorked.
Don't forget to check out our Comedians Uncorked YouTube channel and just click on that subscribe button. Thanks.